about someone who you know very well, and who I know very well, who we all love, and that is Linda Scaparrotti. Linda Scaparrotti was born in Massachusetts to a working class and immigrant family, and she was the first in her family to go to college on a scholarship to both college and law school, which of course is no surprise to those of us who know Linda. She graduated cum laude from Smith College before it was cool and before all the women there were lesbians for at least 4 years. And then she was heavily recruited to attend the UC Davis King Hall School of Law, and we're so grateful that she accepted that heavy recruitment. And she was at that point, she was the only person to be out at UC Davis. And she wasn't really out, but she knew she should come out. So she announced this in an assembly, not sure what the reaction would be. But because she's Scap, it was a standing ovation, which led to one of the first ever gay-straight alliances anywhere in the country at UC Davis King Hall. Now, what you all know is that Linda has been a key leader in HRC for over 15 years, serving on the National HRC Board of Directors, the Foundation Board, retiring just this past July, and then serving on the very coveted Public Policy Committee, and then the arduous Development Committee. And locally, Linda, along with her partner in crime, her hero, our hero, Frank Wu, revitalized HRC to what you see tonight, this vibrant community here tonight in San Francisco. But we also know that Linda's lifelong commitment to social justice and equality is beyond HRC, and obviously I know this personally. She has volunteered her time and her talents and her commitment to the National Center for Lesbian Rights, Equality California, Bay Area Lawyers for Individual Freedom, Spectrum, Horizons Foundation, and Open House. Linda has been a tireless champion for this community and for the LGBTQ people in San Francisco. She also served as the first ever member of the Oakland LGBT Civil Rights Commission, resulting in one of the first domestic partner ordinances in the state of California. And way back in Massachusetts, she was the youngest person ever to serve as an assistant director to the Massachusetts Commission on Sex Discrimination. Before the practice that we all know, Linda's focus on LGBT legal rights here in San Francisco, she was a feminist litigator, litigating cases on behalf of women who have been targeted for sexual assault or rape or harassment. And she brought those cases under a theory that no one had thought about doing before, using civil law rather than the ineffectual and often dehumanizing criminal law. Scap's legal advocacy empowered victims of sexual assault to hold their perpetrators to account, and also the institutions that protected them. And she won hundreds of cases on behalf of individuals who were subject to sexual harassment or sexual assault. And yet still it seems straight men can't control themselves. So more work obviously needs to be done, Scap. Don't stop yet. In 2010, Linda became one of the first female LGBT presidents of the San Francisco Trial Lawyers Association, which is the second largest association of litigators in the state of California. And as we all know, she has established one of the most promising and enduring and effective legal practices for LGBT people in the state of San Francisco, focused on estate planning and family law. Linda was one of the first providers of self-help legal workshops and helped hundreds of LGBT people at a time when we weren't sure where the law was going and people didn't know what laws could protect them, help themselves and protect their lives and their relationships. What many of us don't know is that even though this is the fierce lesbian litigator that we know, Scap was actually raised to be a farm wife. And is obviously very well versed in things like pickling, jamming, baking, gardening, canning, wildflower arranging. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Scap also had a beloved collie named Lady, who she looked exactly alike. Now that I can see, As many of you know, Scap is an accomplished athlete and has been her whole life. She served as a starting center and forward on her lacrosse and hockey teams, and even today, she will kick your ass in tennis. And of course, there is no one whose opinion about what I'm wearing I care more about than Linda Scaparotti's. Scap can be quirky. And in fact, I was delighted to read that just out of law school, at her first trial, her boss at the time said to her, "You're going to be fine, because there are at least 10 things about you that are really strange, and a jury will find them very endearing." So there is some charm there, obviously. Scap still regrets not having children, but makes up for it by being an amazing aunt. And I saw this firsthand when we were in Palm Springs and hung out with Scap with our then 10-year-old daughter, Ariana, who's just about to be 16. And Ariana, who was then a little bit taciturn, hanging around adults, made this immediate connection to Scap. And they started talking in the corner very excitedly over the course of the couple of hours they spent together. We saw them in the corner talking about boy bands and shopping and clothes and fashion, just like any two 10-year-olds. And it was an amazing, plus they were the same size, so there was an immediate bond because of that as well. Whether you've known Scap for 5 minutes, or as lucky as I have been to know her for 23 years, it is immediate. That sense of decency, accessibility, humanity, guileless charm. It is an honor for me to call her a friend, and it is a special honor for me to present to her tonight the Charles M. Holmes Community Service Award. Linda Scaparrotti.